So what are your emotions? Are the nerves, excitement? What are your emotions as you headed to this 2014-15 season?
I think there's always excitement just because, it's a new team and every new team takes on a new identity. And plus, being preseason picked fifth, people aren't expecting as much out of us as what we were able to accomplish last year. So there's that underdog part of you that wants to prove yourself. So, and with our schedule being as competitive as it is, I think there's a lot of excitement built up because of it.
Now, with being picked fifth, I know that's hard because it's a preseason poll, but and being the defending champions, I guess, how do you balance that, having, I guess, the bullseye on your back, but having been picked fifth, how do you balance that as a staff?
It's funny, as a coach, you can be, a psychiatrist, a psychologist, because you can make that whatever you want. You can say, wow, they picked us fifth and we lost our two leading scorers. They must think a lot of us. Or, wow, they picked us fifth and we lost our two leading scorers. They must not think too much of us. So, you know what? We basically try to take every day one day at a time. We don't talk a lot about winning championships. Win the day. Win the day as a person, win the day as a student, win the day as an athlete, and every day try to get better.
As a coach, because from what I hear, you built a great tradition of family and defense. So as a coach, how do you continue that legacy on a day-to-day basis?
You know what? I just think, as you get older, you realize that every day is a gift. I tell the kids that's why it's called the present, because it is a gift. And I think, you have a responsibility as a coach to be a leader. And so the kids are going to follow my lead. And if I settle for mediocrity, they settle for mediocrity. So there's going to be days, and I just told them today, there's going to be days you walk away not liking me, that's fine. But, you end up loving me. It's like part of a family. There's days you don't like your brothers and sisters or, because you're mad at them, But the end result is you do anything for them. I said, but if I settle for it, it means you're settled. We have standards, and you get what you demand. So I'm very demanding.
With your schedule, it's very competitive, not only Atlantic 10-wise, but non-conference-wise. How does that non-conference schedule help you with your conference schedule?
It definitely prepares you because there's so many good teams that we're facing. We're playing 12 teams that went to postseason, so that's a competitive schedule. But, we realized from our schedule in the last couple of years, if we hadn't won last year, we probably would have been on the outside looking in for the NCAA tournament. So we knew we had to beef up our schedule a little bit to put ourselves in that position to steal in that large bid if we're able to take care of business in our out-of-conference schedule.
From what I understand, there are a lot of teams that you're facing for the first time this year. How, as a coaching staff, do you prepare for that? Because I know there are a lot of familiar faces, but there are teams that you're facing for the first time. I guess, how do you balance that?
I think it works both ways because they're unfamiliar as well. So it really comes down to, taking one game at a time, one day at a time. And, as you get ready for the next opponent, you don't look too far ahead. And our philosophy is after each game, we suffer or we celebrate to midnight, we move on.
You say talking about how you lost your two leading scorers, but you have a great roster here. Talk about your team and what fans could expect for when they come out here and watch the team play.
I think you see a blue-collar team. We're going to get after it. Nobody's going to outwork us. Nobody's going to out-tough us. I think we'll be a team that communicates. I think we'll be fun to watch because I think we play the game the right way. I think it's a very unselfish group. It's a team that really wants to win, but they want to do it together. And so, the big philosophy you try to teach early on, especially with the newcomers coming in, because every high school kid coming in is their best player. So you got to kind of teach, to put the me away for the we, and that's not always easy because every kid wants to play. And so a lot of it is just trying to strike that balance. And I think it takes some time to strike that balance. But when the end result is a positive one, I think everybody's willing to sacrifice.
I know, you got, like as I was saying, you got such a great team. Are there going to be any maybe potential surprises or players to watch for?
I think there's kids that have improved from last year. I think all our freshmen got better, and I think that's a great sign that all of them have gotten better. Because we're obviously going to need people to step up. We lost a lot of statistical value. And so I think we have a strong freshman class. But again, they're freshmen, so it's going to be a roller coaster. They're going to be good, they're going to be bad. So we're going to have to see, not only who steps up statistically, but who steps up as leaders.
Now, with all the experiences that you've had as a coach, how do you bring that to the players and getting to this team to having another successful year? How do you take all those experiences?
I think you need to remind yourself, one, you carry so many different roles as a coach. You're not just a coach. You're a mom. You're a psychologist. You're confident. You're a friend. And what you have to realize is the generation we're in right now, it's not one that you can really scream and yell. You're not going to get through to them. You got to motivate, and you got to know every kid's different. Every kid's motivate differently. You got to listen. You got to be a better listener. So I've learned to be a better listener. I still am learning. There's a lot of mistakes I still make. I think that's part of growth. You grow through your mistakes. But I think, at the end of the day, I think the number one thing is they know that I would do anything for them and I'll help them in any way. And I think that's a big part when people ask me why my teams win. It's really no magical X and O or offense or defense. It's really that you care about the kids and that you'll be there for them.
You got starting up with an exhibition before you take on a very tough Iona team. Are you starting to prepare for that mentally with lineup-wise and strategy? Are you starting to prepare for those things, or you just? I know you say you're taking it one day at a time, but in the back of your head, are you starting to prepare for those things?
I mean, we're now entering week 4 of practices, so now you start to formulate a plan lineup-wise. The first couple weeks are kind of balanced teams, and then all of a sudden we bring in our scout squad so that we can start working on a rotation. So yeah, of course, now at this point we got to start working towards the opponents we're going to face, and Iona's a couple weeks off, so we're not really looking towards them right now. It's really making sure we take care of ourselves and what we have to get in, what we need to get in. I think it's important that we're prepared to face anything we're going to see, so it's still a little bit more time spending on ourselves.
Now, as a coach, how do you balance everything, from being disciplinarian? How do you balance everything from the practices to the bonding to bringing that to each game? How do you balance that?
It's not always easy. I mean, because I don't yell a lot, so when I do yell, I think it's more effective because I'm not a big yeller. And so when I'm mad, they know it's serious because I don't really get mad that often. And I don't get mad about missed shots or anything like that. I get frustrated with sloppiness, and not focused and not concentrating. Mm-hmm. And so, for the kids, my biggest thing on balance is just making sure I know they're going to follow my lead. So if I come in and I have low energy, I told them they have the right for low energy. I'm never going to be that. I'm going to come in, I'm going to give it every single day. And I also have a philosophy and a policy with the kids. If you have a bad day, if something happened at home and something's really troubling you, just tell me or one of the coaches so we know just to watch over you and that we'll take care of you and that to make sure that you're okay. Because if you don't feel well and you have a bad practice, there's a reason. And you are kids. And so I tell the kids all the time, if you don't tell me, I'm not a mind reader. So it's an open game and, I'm going to be all over you. And shame on you if you don't tell me because you have that opportunity to do that. So I think for us, I think it's fair. I think we're fair. I think we're understanding. I think we're demanding. But the end result, we definitely, they're in my life forever. They're not just for the 4 years they're here.
Can we get back to, I know you don't have to give away all your strategy, but do you have, a plan of attack with how you're going to start your team? Do you have, sort of a plan of attack with how you're going to start everybody in rotations and stuff like that?
I think we're starting to form a plan. It's so hard to say. I think I'll know more after the exhibition game because it's one thing to practice every day. It's another thing to see how kids react in game situations. So after we, scrimmage Marist on Saturday, I'll have a better feel. And then next week when we actually, put on our uniforms, I'll have a better feel after that. And then that plan will form, and then it could change even after the first few games as we're working on rotations and getting kids back through injuries. So that could come into play as well. We're pretty much what we are is what we are. We're going to play. We're going to get after on defense. We're going to try to take care of the ball and get good shots in every possession. And it's a pretty simple game.
How much does it mean for you as a coaching staff to have competitive exhibitions and scrimmages before the start of the year? Is it good for the team to be mentally prepared going up against good teams?
Well, you know what? We're allowed two exhibition games or scrimmages. And a lot of coaches will go against D1 teams. But the problem with that is they're closed scrimmages. And you're not really supposed to make it game-like situations, which I don't know if you really gain a lot from that other than the competition. What I would like to see us make a change in the NCAA rules is allow, kind of like preseason football and basketball, allow you to have those scrimmages for us to play a Marist who's not on our schedule, being able to open it up to the public. Let's get better. Let's put our uniforms on. Why do we have to play a D2 or D3 school to do that? I want to play the best competition. I want to get better. So it's a great situation for the D2 or D3 schools because, they can get better playing better competition. But for us, you're supposed to win that game, And so for us, I would love to see us get to a situation where we can be able to play D1 teams in scrimmage situations.
Another rule I believe that was changed is this no-touch rule on the defense. Mm-hmm. How do you keep a student athlete, because I know that has to be a big change for a lot of people, how do you keep them aggressive on the defensive end of the court but still continue to play unselfish with that new rule?
Well, it's been a point of emphasis the last couple of years, so we've spent a lot of time in our practices. We're very defensive oriented, so a lot of time is spent whether using towels and no hands, or that's why we bring officials in periodically so that we can make sure the kids get adjusted real quick about the touches. So I think we're able to understand the importance of the no-touch rule early on because of some of the things we do, such as the officials and some of the drills we do to prepare for it.
And any message for the fans at home to get them to catch the official first game versus Iona?
It'll be an unbelievable atmosphere. I'm telling you, we're playing an unbelievable Iona team. They're exciting to watch. They've got some outstanding players. They got a great coach, great staff over there, and it's a city rival. You know, we haven't played them for a couple of years, and you know, we're at home, and you know, we're coming off an Atlantic 10 title. I think it's an 11:30 game, so it's an opportunity to get out in the afternoon, kick off your weekend in the right way. Go Rams!
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.